good? What is good? Welcome back to another live. This is episode number 10, and we are moving forward all 2024. Make sure you guys leave a like on your way in, and make sure you guys leave a like on your way out. We appreciate your viewership over on this side. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description also, so you guys can follow me on Instagram and check out my clothing brand, funkyjunkieco, as you can see in the top right corner. But I hope you guys are having a blessed day. We got some topics to go over today, and the big headlines are happening. Big headlines are happening, and we got to talk about it. Ron DeSantis has dropped out officially. We're going to talk about Ron DeSantis, and we're going to talk about what Trump's reaction was to it after it all was unfolding. So, yes, like I said, I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Let's get into this. Ron DeSantis has ended his political campaign. Let's tune in.
Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who had been when he got in, the one to beat Donald Trump. And now what we're seeing is that he only survived one contest, only survived Iowa, and he is dropping out of the race before voters even go to the polls here where I am in New Hampshire, day after tomorrow. This is a really stunning decision, a stunning decline for a candidate who had millions and millions of dollars. All of the donors who were kind of not into Donald Trump at the beginning of this process, way before he even got into the race back in May, they said Ron DeSantis is our guy. But he clearly felt that that was not going to happen for him. The money was drying up, and the polls were making clear that he was not going to be able to make it very far. And that is a deadly combination when you are running for president. Just in our poll today, Frederica, he got only 6% here in New Hampshire. He has not been advertising here, for example, since November. And that just kind of gives you a sense of where things are. If you go back to Iowa just last week, Frederica, he went to all 99 counties. He made a very big push there, and he didn't win one of them. And so the combination of that, all of the money that he spent, and the lack of traction that he has been getting made it very clear to him and the people in his campaign, the people in his family, that it was the end of the road for him in this.
So Ron DeSantis has officially dropped out. Victor Ramaswamy has officially dropped out also, and this leaves Nikki Haley, just one left. Now, I don't believe, obviously, that she stands a chance against Trump, but these two that jumped up first, I think they have the best chance, and we're now seeing what the aftermath of this is.
Particular race, and he is suspending his campaign, Frederica.
Well, Dana, it's still really remarkable because we're talking about the timing of it all. Why now? 2 days ahead of the New Hampshire contest. Oh, wait a minute. We've got that video now in that we want to share with everybody that you were making reference to. Dana, let's watch and listen.
Reminds me why I decided to run for president, to fight for those who have been forgotten in this country. This is America's time for choosing. We can choose to allow a border invasion, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose reckless borrowing and spending, or we can choose to limit government and lower inflation. We can choose political indoctrination, or we can choose classical education. These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure and that Western civilization can survive. And we launched this campaign to bring accountability to government, regain sovereignty at our border, and restore sanity to our society. We cannot succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be invaded, our currency to be debased, our cities to crumble, and our kids to be indoctrinated. The DC elites who facilitated this mess do not care about you, and they do not work for you. They work for themselves. They seek to accumulate power at your expense, to pursue an agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians. It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve. I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by bold colors, delivering on my promises, and defeating the people who are responsible for our nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope, that decline is a choice, and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me.
Now, this is some big news right here. DeSantis is suspending his campaign, and now that leaves one person left. Who do you guys think is going to be the VP if Trump does win? Who are you guys going to put in there? Vivek or DeSantis or Nikki Haley? I don't think Nikki Haley is going to get in there, obviously. But I do think that DeSantis and Vivek have a great chance of stepping in his place.
Me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. I thank all of our passionate supporters who have stood by us through it all. That we had people volunteer to come to Iowa in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls touched us dearly. No candidate had more thrown at him, but no candidate had so many committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Casey, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie. Casey's gone far above and beyond in her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not only a great wife and mother, she's a great American who cares deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot on the trail, from playing on the famed Field of Dreams baseball site in Iowa to making their first snowman in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
All right.
I do wish DeSantis luck. I do wish him the best. I feel like he has a good heart and he has the right mindset that the people are actually looking for. But some of his ideologies, a lot of people still don't agree with. And I think that's why he fell short. And I think that's why he ran out of money, because the supporters realized that there's only one guy that can get our message across, and that is Donald Trump. And now everybody is joining forces together just to make sure that the Republicans have the biggest chance of winning this next election. And it's the right way to do things. If you can't beat them, join them.
So if you're just now joining us, that is a video where Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now announces that he is suspending his campaign for the GOP nomination in his path to the White House. He says, we don't have a clear path, But at the same time, he also said Trump is superior to President Biden. So clearly he's throwing his support behind Trump, who, in every indication through so much polling, that he is still the leading figure in the race for the nomination of the GOP. And so just a couple days ago, you heard Nikki Haley saying it's a two-person race, and so it is now. Dana Bash back with us now. So we're hearing with some clarity there from Ron DeSantis that he's out.
Nikki Haley, you got 24 hours. This is coming from the Trump side. You got 24 hours to bow down. If you don't bow down, forget about it. Your chances of being VP is out the window. Bow down now, Nikki Haley, and call it a day.
He had some real criticism for government still works for itself, not for you. Yet even with that criticism of government, he is no longer on the path to try to promote some sort of change with him in the White House. But, you know, it's still curious as to why he made this decision now, when immediately, even after a poor showing in Iowa, he goes to South Carolina, and then he comes to New Hampshire today for at least one campaign event, canceling on television appearances, and now has this very constructed television announcement that he has suspended the campaign. So what happened in between all of this?
Well, I've just been texting. Well, first of all, I should just give you a little bit of context. I am currently at an event. Nikki Haley, I'm not sure if you can see or hear her behind me, but I am with Nikki Haley right now in New Hampshire. So it's a bit surreal. They delayed the start of this event, it seemed, as they were consuming and digesting the news that Ron DeSantis was in fact suspending his campaign. And now it is Nikki Haley and it is Donald Trump. They are the ones on the Republican side of the ledger who are on the ballot here. I mean, DeSantis will likely be on the ballot, but for all intents and purposes, it is a race between them, even more so now. To answer your question, as we were listening to that video, Fred, I was texting with a DeSantis source who said that right after he was in South Carolina yesterday, he went back to Tallahassee, back home to Florida, met with his family, they talked, and decided that this was the best course. Because I think you were alluding to this, the plan, at least what the campaign had told everybody, was that he was on his way here. He was supposed to be here for an event tonight in just a couple of hours. And obviously he is not coming here, and that is not happening. You know, what you said, Fred, about the idea that even though he did so poorly, he did not win one county in the 99 counties of Iowa. He still went to South Carolina, still came here, went back to South Carolina. The question that you asked, a very good one, is why? My experience in covering these processes, these primaries.
DeSantis never had a chance, clearly. He never had a chance, especially in Iowa. I wonder how he would have done in New Hampshire, though. But I guess we'll never find out now because he dropped out. But let's continue.
Particularly when it is sort of within the party, you know, the early process, the nominating process. It takes a while for the candidate and the candidate's family and top supporters, but this is a very personal decision to go through, I don't know, sort of the stages of campaign grief, and to figure out that it is in fact the end of the road. And he has been out there for so long, for so many months, mostly in Iowa in recent times. And it takes a while for this kind of thing to sink in. It is not unique to Ron DeSantis to not figure it out, or at least to come to terms with it, you know, the day after or even the night of. And so that is what has happened. Now, I will say, you mentioned this, Fred. DeSantis was supposed to be on my show this morning on State of the Union and also on Meet the Press on NBC. They canceled late last night or last evening. They said it was for logistical reasons. His campaign is insisting that it was still the case, that he hadn't decided until this afternoon. We'll take them for their word on that this was a decision that he and his family came to while he was home in Florida after leaving South Carolina, Fred.
Tomorrow. That was great. Hey, good luck. Good luck to Ron DeSantis as he still leads Florida. we knew it was about to happen. We knew it was only a matter of time. Vivek dropped out. That was probably Trump's second man, that he had to worry about. And then DeSantis drops out. And that's another person that Trump was probably worried about. I don't think that Trump is worried about Nikki Haley one bit. Even if she wins in New Hampshire, I don't think it'll make a difference. I think Trump is now clearly at the forefront of the Republican Party, and honestly, well deserved, well deserved. But Trump had some words to say about DeSantis dropping out, and apparently
Ron DeSantis, and
he's all for him. So let's check this video out. Trump is now backing Ron DeSantis after he drops out. Let's tune in.
before we begin, I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis and, of course, a really terrific person who I've gotten to know, his wife, Casey, for having run a great campaign for president. He did. He ran a really good campaign, I will tell you. It's not easy. They think it's easy doing this stuff, right? It's not easy. But as you know, he left the campaign trail today at 3 p.m. And in so doing, he was very gracious and he endorsed me. So I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And I also look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. We have to get him out. He's put our country at great peril, So I just want to thank Ron and congratulate him on doing a very good job. It's a tough situation. It's a tough thing.
Trump is all for it. Trump and Vivek and Ron DeSantis are all now on the same page, and they're all thinking the same thing. Let's take down Joe Biden once and for all. And it's only a matter of time before Nikki Haley joins in. It's only a matter of time. I think it's clear. This is going to be entertaining these next couple of months to see exactly when she drops out or if she even drops out. But it'll be an interesting thing to see. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. It's your boy Dgotsauce, man. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below who you think is going to be our next president of the United States of America. We already knew. It was going to be one or the other, but it was not going to ever be between DeSantis, Vivek, or Nikki. That's just the honest truth. Make sure you guys leave a like on the stream. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We got some more news about Boeing Airlines. Now, a couple weeks ago, they lost the door off of their airplane mid-flight. And now, this week, their flight catches on fire. I think it's time for Boeing to call it quits. But let's tune in.
Our next story is about a burning plane. Let me show you. This is not an AI-generated visual. This happened for real. A cargo plane caught fire midair. It happened in the United States on Thursday. The burning plane is an Atlas Air Boeing 7478. Yes, another Boeing plane. Things don't seem to be getting any better for the American plane maker. This particular plane had taken off from the Miami International Airport and it was headed to Puerto Rico. But shortly after takeoff, the plane's engine malfunctioned. We don't have details of what exactly happened, but we are being told the crew followed standard protocol and decided to turn around and return to Miami. You can see the plane is on fire as it prepares to land. This, let me remind you, was a cargo plane. No information has been given on the nature of cargo this plane was carrying. Atlas Air is a New York-based company. It claims to operate the world's largest fleet of Boeing 747 freight aircraft.
Thank God nobody was on the plane. If there was people on the plane, of course they're going to be suing the life out of Boeing. And I know that pilot is probably pissed because he can't catch a break. Last week that pilot was on a flight, lost the door. This week the engine blew up mid-flight on the way to Puerto Rico. And this is nuts. This is nuts. And I think it's about time that we start protesting against Boeing. Get them off the streets. It's that time. Let's continue.
This burning plane brings back the spotlight on Boeing yet again. Earlier this month, a plug door of the 737 MAX 9 plane blew off midair in the United States. The FAA, or the Federal Aviation Authority, grounded all Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets. Multiple airlines, including United and Alaska Airlines, reported loose parts. Here in India, the DGCA, or the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, directed Indian operators to inspect all MAX aircraft. At least one plane had missing parts. The burning Boeing jet is 8 years old. It was forced to return to the airport just 50 minutes after takeoff. What sparked the fire? We will, of course, update you as soon as we learn more about the story. Beyond World is One is now.
This is absolutely nuts. This is absolutely nuts. And this is exactly why I will never set my foot in a Boeing aircraft ever in my life. I'm going to say it loud and I'm going to say it proud. Boeing, you suck. Boeing, you suck. You suck. And if I was a smart investor, I'm shorting you. I'm shorting you until you get your stuff together. Fly JetBlue, fly Delta, and fly American Airlines. It seems to be the safest route for all of us. This is sad. This is sad. And Boeing is an American company. They should be able to get their act together quickly and swiftly, but it seems like that's not the case. Thank you guys for tuning in once more. I appreciate y'all viewership, man. We got another video that we got to get over, and this one is about crime in the Black community. It is sad, man, that we have to keep seeing this over and over and over again, where these teenagers are killing each other, getting themselves locked up, and dying daily almost. And it doesn't seem like there's an end to this. So we need to talk about this. We need to have this conversation because we can't allow the future kids that are coming up in this world to go down the same rabbit hole and the same nonsense that we're seeing every single day. This one was a 15-year-old kid, and he's sentenced to life now in prison. Let's tune in.
Safety alert. A 16-year-old boy who's convicted of murder will spend the rest of his life in prison. Joshua Coleman shot and killed Deasia Green in an alley last year. 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means was in court when the judge sentenced the teen.
This family is absolutely devastated. They came to court for the sentencing, and they still don't have a motive to why their daughter was shot and killed. 16-year-old Joshua Coleman pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to life in prison. The teen shot Deasia Green in the back of the head in an alley. Coleman was stone-faced as...
Let's look at him. Let's take a good look. Let's take a good look. When is it going to stop? We have to do a better job, Black people. We have to do a better job. Ain't no way that we can continue to see our young people setting themselves up for failure like this every single week. This kid had a bright future ahead of him. He probably had a lot that he could have accomplished over the years. And now he's going to be sitting in a jail cell for the rest of his entire life. Not only that, but a young, precious Black woman has now lost her life, and she will not be able to know what it feels like to be 20. She won't be able to know what it feels like to be 25, to be 30, to see her kids grow up, to see her grandkids, because of senseless nonsense like this. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. This is a sad situation. This is a sad situation. And we don't even know the motive. Let's continue.
Green's mother asked him why he killed her daughter.
Why would Joshua do this to her? She didn't deserve it. She was a social butterfly. She didn't deserve it.
Look at this, man. Look at his face now. Do y'all honestly think he's remorseful? Do y'all honestly think that he understands the magnitude of the situation he put himself in as a 16-year-old kid? His life is over. And I don't think nobody told him that before he pulled the trigger.
Last year, Toledo police found the 15-year-old girl dead in an alley in the 1300 block of Page. Police said Green was a habitual runaway. The teen's parents reported her missing, but there was something different about this time. The prosecutors said an eyewitness came forward to help TPD solve this case.
I can't tell you enough how important it is for, if you see what's happened to someone, to come forward. And we had an individual that did that, and that takes incredible bravery.
Judge Michael Goulding asked Coleman if he wanted to make a statement.
You'd like to tell the court why you did it?
My man didn't even want to speak to the court and ask the court and tell the court what was the reason why he did it. I mean, at least he turned himself in, I guess, if you want to give him a hand clap for that. Hip, hip, hooray. You did the right thing, turning yourself in. But, my guy, we got to know what the reason of all this was for. We got to understand what was going through your head while you was pulling that trigger, while you was walking down that alleyway with this woman. What was your motives and why did you pull a trigger? And do you feel any remorse? You got this mother that is looking you in the face, crying over this woman, over her daughter. And you don't even have the guts. You don't even have the common sense to say, you know what? Let me at least try to go out in a good way. Let me at least try to make this place a better place if I had not been here. But it's too late. It's too late. And unfortunately, you got a some long days in jail. And I feel bad for you. I feel extremely bad. But this has to stop.
Bravery.
Judge Michael Goulding asked Coleman if he wanted to make a statement.
You'd like to tell the court why you did it?
Coleman is one of many young people who have been certified to stand trial as an adult for killing someone.
Well, they finally starting to show these youth that you can be charged as an adult and you can do grown people time. So at any point in time, you got to think twice about what you're going to do. I'm just glad my daughter got her justice.
Joshua Coleman's family declined to comment. Reporting from downtown, Alexis Means.
Did she actually get justice, though? Did she actually get justice? She's not even here to let us know. She ain't even here no more to let us know if she got justice or not. I'm pretty sure in her mother's head she didn't get justice. I'm pretty sure in her mother's eyes she didn't get justice. It's a sad situation that he put himself in. Unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do now. There's no turning back from what you did. And it's going to be a long, long, long jail days for you. And I feel bad because you could have been so much better. You could have impacted your community in such a different way, but instead you chose to go this route. I say this to say this, man. Be good people. Build your character. Do good things in life, because there's too much evil out there for us to not try to combat it. We can't keep going down the same rabbit holes every single week. We all gonna end up dead. I love you though, guys. Make sure you guys leave a like on the stream. I appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in. This is a quick one that I just wanted to do today. Figured we might as well get some live streaming in, because your boy has some time. But I'm gonna get through one more video with you guys, and then I'm gonna head out of here. And this next one, obviously, you guys know we love talking about migrants. And apparently there has been a family that drowned. A family has drowned. Now, this is stuff obviously that we don't want to see. This is stuff that we're not asking for. We're not looking for. No matter how bad this crisis gets, no matter how crazy it looks out there for these people, we don't want to see these people die. We don't want to see these people hurting. And we sure don't want to see these people drowning. But apparently, a family has died drowning on the border in Texas. Let's get into it.
Anguished voices on the Rio Grande filled with fear and undeniable desperation. Real human beings risking and sometimes losing their lives in a bid to cross into these United States. The crisis reached yet another crescendo with claims that Texas troops blocked federal Border Patrol agents from going to the rescue of drowning immigrants near Eagle Pass. We have learned since that those incendiary allegations just weren't true. that the immigrant mother and 2 children who ultimately perished in the water did so well before Border Patrol sought access to a state-controlled Riverside Park where Texas Guard troops restrict access. Panel Governor Greg Abbott is not backing down, and sadly, I think it's safe to say this tragedy will be repeated over and over unless President Biden and Congress somehow summon the will to take decisive, permanent action. Holly, you've read the reports here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that
So a family that was coming from probably Mexico decided that they were going to take their kid. Sorry, a mother decided that they were going to take their 2 children and swim across whatever lake this was, a river, to try to make it into the U.S. And unfortunately, they all 3 have passed away.
was a false narrative that was put out ahead of that story, and the truth coming out that they had drowned on the Mexico side of the border or of the river there. What's interesting is that since Biden took office, there have been at least 546 drownings known in that particular area. They don't make the news because they weren't able to blame Governor Abbott or Texans for that problem. The problem is that these people are incentivized to come to the United States through illegal points of entry. They're willing to risk their lives because they know that once they get across the river and reach American soil, they'll be given funds, they'll be given phones, they'll be transported across the country, and it's a huge incentive. And the administration is not securing the border. It is a chaotic and dangerous situation for those who wish to come here for legitimate reasons.
Paul, you have family in border enforcement. Take 30.
And they tried to blame it on the Border Patrol. That's the saddest part about it. Who was watching? Who was recording there? Sitting and recording them, yelling for help. That's the saddest part about this whole situation, I believe. Like, that person that was recording probably could have swam. He could have probably put his phone down and swam over and tried to help. Now, if there's alligators in the water, that's different. That's different. If there's alligators in the water, I'm not hopping in there either. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. But this is just sad, man. This is just sad.
Seconds. What are you hearing? What's your perspective?
I think 2 things can be true at the same time. But what I would ask is everyone start with a position of dignity, the same care and concern we give towards the people who, serve our food, clean our homes, take care of our children. Those are the people who are coming across the border just, years later. I do think the border needs to be shut down. I do think that Biden is failing. I do think that at the same time, I think that there should be at least a measure of dignity paid to the people once we do bring them together.
Yeah.
Everybody is on the same page about this migrant crisis. They all think that Biden is failing, and they all think that this thing is out of control. Everybody is looking for organization here. People are dying. People are dying. And the president is not saying a word. People are dying. People are getting stabbed. People are getting frozen to death. People are dying. 5-year-olds are dying. And this should have a way bigger press to it, a way bigger news line to it. But because these news lines like to throw their little narratives and make it seem like, oh, it's not their fault, it's not his fault. It is. It is. It is absolutely his fault. This all could have been avoided if there were actual structures in place for these people to get here legally. Let's continue.
Our viewers anyway have reached a saturation point. 95% in our poll said they don't have the responsibility to go save those people because they've been told don't do.
96% say they would not save a migrant if they had to risk their own life. And that is exactly how a lot of people, heck yeah. Again, if there was alligators in that river, I'm not hopping in to save nobody. You had no right getting in that water in the first place.
Good. I think that's just a measure of frustration, Bob, don't you?
Well, the reason they've been told not to do it is because we had a Texas National Guardsman drown trying to save somebody who turned out to be a drug trafficker coming across the river. What you heard in that video was a crime being committed. The crime was child endangerment. You heard that baby crying in there. If you or I, any of us, took our child through that frigid water to cross the river, it dragged them through razor wire to get into this country, you'd be charged with child endangerment.
That's a fact, though. And that's the sad part that nobody seems to be talking about also. Why are these people forcing it that much just to get in here? They're literally bringing their kids, putting their kids in a life or death situation just to get on American soil. Through lakes, through alligators, through barbed wire, through electrical fence. What in the world are you actually thinking? Why would you want to put your kid in that predicament? If you're going to do something like that, do it by yourself.
We don't charge these migrants with child endangerment. We bring them in. The Biden administration buses them up and releases them into these little tiny border communities like Eagle Pass, Texas. And then you get these whiny baby mayors up in sanctuary cities like Denver and Chicago and New York City who cry about getting a few thousand migrants from Governor Abbott when he's getting millions, when they're getting millions of migrants from Joe Biden's border policies. 3 years ago today, Joe Biden created this problem when he walked into the Oval Office and signed the executive orders reversing the highly successful programs put in place by President Donald Trump. They were told this was going to happen. They made a deliberate decision to do it, and this is the consequence. Henry Cuellar didn't say anything about the hundreds of migrants that you talked about that drowned in the river.
Right. 30 seconds, Marcus. We're at another impasse here.
Yeah.
Now, there's hope that they can leverage aid to Ukraine and Israel, but to get something going on. Do you think Congress or this administration has the will to do what's right on the border?
I don't, simply because, Bob, I agree in part with what you said. What I heard was a cry for freedom. What I heard was a cry of desperation. What the question of being asked about whether or not police officers have the responsibility to risk their lives. No, but human beings have a responsibility of being humane, right? And it's a terrible situation. Unfortunately, this cry of desperation, a lack of humanity, we're watching politicians play football with this subject, with this topic, with this issue.
We are watching politicians play football. We're watching politicians play chess, and we're watching politicians play Jesus at the same time, because we're literally seeing people die. We're literally seeing people freeze to death. And little did they know that this all was going to happen. Now, obviously, not all the migrants are bad. Not all of them are doing crime. Not all of them are freezing, and not all of them. Some of them is staying absolutely out the way, and that is good for them. But for some others, they are doing it absolutely the wrong way. And we got to pray for these migrants, man, because it's really looking bad out here for them. It's really looking sad, and we don't want to see people dying, especially just off the fact that just try to get freedom. Just try to get to the U.S. It's not that good over here for you to be forcing it like this. I'll be honest with you. It's not what it seems like. It's not. But hey, shout out to y'all migrants, man. Keep doing y'all thing. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. This was episode 10. I'm not here long today because I just wanted to get this quick thing in with Ron DeSantis. dropping out. That was the most important piece that I really wanted to cover today. It's looking like we are going to see Trump as the next president. Whether you guys like it or not, it's looking like it. Biden has to either figure out this migrant crisis, and he has to figure out a few other things about these wars, because other than that, he's been failing miserably. Nobody is here saying the good stuff that Biden is doing. They're only talking about the trash that he's brought. And Kamala Harris, oh my God. Oh my God. What a disappointment. The first black vice president. And honestly, for the past 3 years, I haven't heard her say a word. I haven't heard her speak. I haven't heard her sign a bill. And I haven't heard her do anything productive. I don't know what's going on with the Democratic Party, but they need help. They need Michelle Obama. They need Barack. And they need Bernie Sanders. Bring Bernie Sanders back. I knew we should have voted for Bernie Sanders. I knew it. But I thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys leave a like on your way out and hit that subscribe button if you rocking with your boy. Thank you again. It's been a dope stream. I wasn't here long, but I should be back again Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Make sure you guys turn on the notifications so you guys can get those when I do go live. It's been real, y'all. It's been real. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Until next time, we out of here. Peace.